السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد, brothers and sisters in Islam, welcome to your weekly Tafseer class. On this particular day, insha'Allah ta'ala, we will be beginning the discussion on ayah number 73 onwards from Surah An-Naml. So we will request Ustad Mussab, our brother Mussab, or Ibn Mussab, to initiate the recitation. Barakallah fiqh. Looks like he's facing some difficulties. So I will. You ready? Okay, never mind. He's ready.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإن ربك لذو فضل على الناس ولكن أكثرهم لا يشكرون وإن ربك ليعلم ما تكن صدورهم وما يعلنون وما من غائبة في السماء والأرض إلا في كتاب مبين.
All right, Barakallah fiqh. So, surely your Lord is ever bountiful to humanity, but most of them are ungrateful. And I bear witness to that. And surely your Lord knows what their hearts conceal and what they reveal. For there is nothing hidden in the heavens or the earth without being written in a perfect record. طيب. So, we're going to go to the commentary of the Shaykh, rahimahullah ta'ala, who says, ينبه عباده على سعة جوده وكثرة أفضاله. Allah Azza wa Jal brings his slaves' attention to the vastness of his generosity and the abundance of his virtues and bounties. ويحثهم على شكرها. And further, Allah encourages us to be thankful regarding them. ومع هذا, and in spite of that, فأكثر الناس قد أعرضوا عن الشكر. The majority of people have turned away from gratefulness. واشتغلوا بالنعم عن المنعم. Interesting. And they became busy or preoccupied with the bounties as opposed to the giver of the bounties. So let us reflect for a short while on this reality, my brothers and sisters in Islam. Do you not agree with your brother here that humans are ungrateful? Do you not agree that humans show little appreciation, if any at all, to the one who gave them everything that they have? Do you not realize that the only thankful, grateful people on planet Earth are the Muslims? In reality, there isn't a single grateful human being in this world. There isn't a single grateful human being to Allah, except that he must be a Muslim. And if he's not a Muslim, but he alleges gratefulness, then we could easily disprove this alleged gratefulness and prove that it is indeed ungratefulness and an insult and a verbal what I don't even want to say verbal, just a state of being unappreciative to Allah, even though they might verbally say otherwise. For instance, if you speak to certain Christians, they will proclaim a sense of gratefulness to God. And it's a common expression that you hear among other people: thank God this and thank God that. And a lot of them attribute certain favors that they have in this world, or certain blessings they have. They attribute them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to God, what they consider to be a God. But when you put that on a scale and then you get their tawheed, or the absence of tawheed, on the other side of the scale, then ultimately the lack of tawheed will outweigh any allegation of gratefulness that they put forth or they put forward. Because the greatest manifestation of gratefulness is actually worshiping Allah alone and accepting all of his messengers. The greatest form of exemplifying true thankfulness is by believing in Allah, worshiping him alone, and accepting all of his prophets and messengers. The moment you reject a prophet or a messenger, specifically Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or or with along with that, you engage in polytheism, idolatry, paganism, associating partners with Allah, calling on other than Allah, deifying other than Allah, then you have done away with any claim of gratefulness to God. And if you were to think about it in human context or human examples, then you could think of hundreds of examples which a human can relate to. Because sometimes, as I've said in the past, and as you already agree, I hope, that sometimes religious principles are hard to grasp, they're hard to decipher for the people. And once you give them an example of the worldly life that they engage in on daily basis, then they can relate better to whatever religious principle that you're trying to articulate or you're trying to explain to them. So for instance, if you work for a company, okay, you work for a company, Bismillah, and this company tells you that if you want to show loyalty to this company that you work for, then there are a number of things that you need to do. The first of which is that you don't leak confidential information pertaining to our plans and our products to a competitor company. That's like the most golden and the most fundamental rule and principle, because obviously that will destroy the entirety of the business. And then among the many things that they expect from you as a sign of loyalty to this company is that you come on time and you don't leave early and you adhere to the guidelines and the direction given to you by HR, and you wear your name tag and da 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 da. And so here you are standing there in a court of law in front of a judge and the prosecutor and the lawyers and everybody with a case against you for having violated the most fundamental element or principle of the company, wherein you leaked not just a product, the entirety of the roadmap, all of the upcoming products with their specifications, with their innovation. You shared them with a competitor so that they can preemptively make those products before your company, and then they take the market share and they take over the market. And while you have all of these calamities against you, you're standing in the law, the court of law, with your name tag and saying, "But hey, I never took off the name tag because the company wanted you to keep the name tag around your neck." You're like, "I never took that off. Look what a loyal employee I am." And surely you should expect some shoes, some desks, some chairs to go flying over from the owners of the company and the HR right at you for being so silly and ridiculous, wherein you're praising yourself and claiming that you show loyalty to the company by keeping a name tag during work hours. But when it came to the most important thing, which is not leaking the product info, you shared the entirety of the lineup with the competitor. You understand the seriousness of this allegation of yours and how silly you look? وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى, to Allah belongs the better example. But I'm trying to bring the point home. Think about that now in religious context. People leave alone Tawheed and believing in the pillars of Iman, and they want to thank, supposedly they claim that they're thankful to Allah for, if He gave him a Ferrari, he says, "Thank God I have a Ferrari," or "I have a good job," or "I have a good wife," or "I have good children." You got to be kidding me. So the reality of this, my brothers and sisters, is that the Muslims are the only actual thankful people. And within the Muslims, not all of us are thankful. Within the Muslims, not all of us are thankful. But Allah Azza wa Jal loves those who are thankful. Why? Because Allah is the provider of these bounties. تمام؟ طيب. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَيَعْلَمُ مَا تُكِنُّ أَيْ تَنْطَوِي عَلَيْهِ صدورهم وما يعلنون فليحذروا من عالم السرائر والظواهر وليراقبوه. And verily Allah Azza wa Jal knows what their hearts conceal. تنطوي عليه, when طوي شيء is when you fold it. Okay, so Allah knows what their chests and their hearts fold over, meaning what they conceal when folded, and what they announce and reveal. So let them be careful, let them be wary of the knower of the secrets and that which is revealed, and let them observe him properly. وما من غائبة في السماء والأرض إلا في كتاب مبين أي خفية وسر من أسرار العالم العلوي والسفلي. Meaning there isn't anything that is hidden from that which cannot be seen, or any secret from the secrets of the world, whether the upper or the lower. إلا في كتاب مبين, except it is written in a perfect record. قد أحاط ذلك الكتاب بجميع ما كان ويكون إلى أن تقوم الساعة. That book, that record, has observed, has contained, has collected, has acquired all of that which was and which will be until the taking place of the hour. If you're British, an hour. If you're Americano. فكل حادث يحدث جلي أو خفي إلا وهو مطابق لما كتب في اللوح المحفوظ. So there isn't a single incident that occurs, whether it is revealed, whether it is evident, visible, or hidden, except that it is in agreement with that which has been written in the preserved tablet. And of course, you all know the hadith that the first thing Allah created was the qalam. قال له اكتب. Allah said to the pen, write. The pen said, "What shall I write?" Said, "Write whatever will happen, whatever will take place until Yawm al-Qiyamah." So everything that the humans do and that will happen, whether among humans, among animals, and the entirety of this universe, everything has been written already and known and recorded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the pen, which was commanded by Allah جل جلاله وتقدست أسماؤه. طيب, ayah number 76 and 77, please.
أولم يروا أنا الله نزل بيده الكتاب فهو على سحر قادر. أولم يروا أنا الله نزل بيده الكتاب فهو على سحر قادر. أولم يروا أنا الله نزل بيده الكتاب فهو على سحر قادر. أولم يروا أنا الله نزل بيده الكتاب فهو على سحر قادر.
طيب, ayah number 76 and 77, please.
إن هذا القرآن يقص على بني إسرائيل أكثر الذي هم فيه يختلفون وإنه لهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين.
بارك الله فيك. طيب, here, indeed, this Quran clarifies for the children of Israel most of what they differ over, and it is truly a guide and mercy for the believers. The Shaykh Rahimahullah says, وَهَذَا خَبَرٌ عَنْ هَيْمَنَةِ الْقُرْآنِ عَلَى الْكُتُبِ السَّابِقَةِ وَتَفْصِيلِهِ وَتَوْضِيحِهِ لِمَا كَانَ فِيهَا قَدْ وَقَعَ فِيهِ اشْتِبَاهٌ وَاخْتِلَافٌ عِنْدَ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلِ. This is information from Allah about the authoritative nature of the Quran and its dominance over the previous scriptures, and how it broke down in detail and clarified matters which were at some point of doubtful nature or caused a difference among the tribes of Israel, among the children of Israel. فقصه هذا القرآن قصا زال به الإشكال. So this Quran narrated those matters in a manner in which that confusion was removed, eradicated. وبين الصواب من المسائل المختلف فيها, and it also showed and expressed the correctness regarding the matters concerning which there was a difference. So anything which was take any matter, let's take it from an aqidah point of view, because there are actually jurisprudential matters which were a source of difference among Bani Israel. For example, circumcision and stuff like that, which the Quran and the Sunnah clarified. And there's creedal matters of creed. So we know that the Christians remain to be in a state of confusion and differing about the crucifixion of Jesus and what exactly happened, depending on which gospel you read, whether it is Mark or Matthew or Luke or John. You will get a different narrative. It's a different narrative on the events that led to the crucifixion of Jesus, and whether he did so willingly, whether he was complaining on the cross, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, was he complaining? Was he the lamb that willingly wanted to be slaughtered? You really won't get a full picture or a cohesive picture, in spite of the alterations and the distortions within the biblical texts. You still get a contradictory story, more or less. A. B. Whether Jesus was God, or Jesus was divine, or Jesus was the Son of God, or Jesus was one of the Trinity, one of the triune, an entity of the triune God. None of these are actually explained explicitly in the Bible because of the conflicting nature of the teachings and the biblical verses. So where do you find the decisiveness on the issue? The Quran. وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ. Allah Azza wa Jal ended it. They did not kill him, nor did they crucify him. Oppa! Game over. Game over. لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْمَسِيحُ عِيسَى ابْنُ مَرْيَمَ. They have disbelieved those who say that Allah is Jesus, the Messiah, the son of Mary. إِنَّ مَثَلَ عِيسَى عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كَمَثَلِ آدَمَ. The example of Jesus with Allah is like that of Adam. خَلَقَهُ مِنْ تُرَابٍ ثُمَّ قَالَ لَهُ كُنْ فَيَكُونَ. He created him from clay, then he said to him, be, and he was. He said regarding him and his mother, كَانَا يَأْكُلَانِ الطَّعَامِ. They used to both eat food. انظر كيف نبين لهم الآيات ثم انظر أن يؤفكون. Look how we make the signs clear for them, and look how they turn away from them. So the Quran put an end to these differences that happened and continue to exist among Christendom, depending on which denomination and depending on which church. And within the church and the denomination, there's further division and further ideologies and more distorted beliefs and more innovated beliefs. The Christians are as wild as it gets. I mean, their religion is 90% invented. It's amazing. 90 to 95% is invented. What actually Jesus taught barely acted upon. Allahumma, some of the 10 commandments, and even those, the 10 commandments are violated within Christendom. You will not find a Christian upon the religion of Jesus ever. That's why the scholars say you shouldn't call the Christians Masihiyun. In English, we say Christians. Tamam? But in Arabic, when they say Masihiyun, the scholars, Allah Azza wa Jal didn't call them Masihiyun. Had they been Masihiyun, they would have been Muslims. They are Nasara, according to some interpretation, because they were the Ansar to Jesus. Whatever. The bottom line is they're not worthy of the title of Christians because they have nothing to do with Christ. So that is the beauty of the Quran. That's why whenever you want to give da'wah, my brothers and sisters, as we've said in the past, you use the Quran as your guide. Anytime you come across humans with distorted pagan beliefs, then you say, here, let me show you from the book of Allah where you have gone astray. Let me show you from the book of Allah and from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ why you have deviated from the straight path. Whatever type of shirk the people fall into, the Quran will put them back on Tawheed, even within the Muslim communities. Whatever type of shirk the so-called Muslims fall into, the Quran is the one that will put them back on track, along with the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. طيب. وإذا كان بهذه المثابة من الجلالة والوضوح وإزالة كل خلاف وفصل كل مشكلة. الله أكبر. And if the Quran is indeed in this level or this high status of nobleness, clarity, and the removal of every conflict, and the decisive one regarding every problematic issue, كان أعظم نعم الله على العباد. It becomes for sure the greatest bounty of Allah upon the slaves. ولكن ما كل أحد يقابل النعمة بالشكر. Remember what we said earlier? What was said earlier in the previous ayah? But not everybody is going to reciprocate the bounty that they receive with gratefulness. ولهذا بين أن نفعه ونوره وهداه مختص بالمؤمنين. That's why Allah Azza wa Jalla clarified that it's the benefit of this Quran and the light of this Quran and the guidance of the Quran is restricted specifically to the believers. فقال وإنه لهدى من الضلالة والغي والشبه. It is a guidance from misguidance and from transgression and from doubt. ورحمة تنثلج له صدورهم وتستقيم به أمورهم الدينية والدنيوية. Their chests find coldness, يعني the coldness of the chest meaning the comfort of the chest, and their matters of their worldly life and their religious matters become upright as a result of that. للمؤمنين به, to the believers in the Quran, المصدقين له المتلقين له بالقبول المقبلين على تدبره المتفكرين في معانيه. Who are those? They are those who believe in it and those who receive it with acceptance and those who turn towards it in reflection and pondering and thinking about its meanings. فهؤلاء, may Allah Azza wa Jal make us among them. That's what we're doing right now, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, that's what we are doing right now. We right now, by Allah's grace and mercy, and we thank you, oh Allah, for this bounty. We are right now a manifestation of this particular ayah. While you could be doing something else on a Friday, while you could be doing anything else, we just happen to be, by the qadr and the mercy and the bounty of Allah, we happen to be engaged in studying and learning and reflecting on Allah's speech. And because of that, it will be a source of guidance and a source of mercy for all of us. How beautiful is that? How fortunate are we that Allah Azza wa Jal selected us from among the many humans, and we're not the only ones. We're not saying we're the only ones right now. There are many Muslims all over the world studying the book of Allah as we speak. Some people are studying Surah Al-Kahf. some people memorizing, some people, whatever they may be in the world. Still, we are from among those elite. Not elite because of us, elite because we were selected. Now, whether Allah accepts from us or not, we hope and pray that Allah Azza wa Jal accepts. That's from the unseen. No one has a receipt about the result of what we're doing. But in terms of the action in and of itself, then we are indeed blessed. We are very blessed to be doing exactly what the Shaykh was referring to over here. Rahimahullah. فَهَؤُلَاءِ تَحْصُلُ لَهُمْ بِهِ. Those people then, they will receive as a result of that from the Quran, الهداية إلى الصراط المستقيم, the guidance to the straight path. والرحمة المتضمنة للسعادة والفوز والفلاح. And the mercy, which is inclusive, which includes happiness, success, and victory. Happiness, victory, and success. Bismillah. Alhamdulillah. So, when you let the Quran guide you, when you put the Quran forward, when you live by the rules established in the Quran, you will not be confused in your religion. People get confused regarding their religion when they don't give the Quran the right that it deserves or the authority that it has. And they squeeze into this very small space their desires and their whims and their perceived intellect or the lack of it. Meaning, if I want to know Aqidah without having to go into the entire discussion about Athari or Ash'ari, which is what we discuss in the Aqidah class. But if you're a Muslim and you read in the book of Allah on your own, and the entire time you're reading the Quran, you're coming across ayat that speak about Allah Azza wa Jal being above. يَخَافُونَ رَبَّهُم مِّن فَوْقِهِمْ. The angels fear their Lord who's above them. مِّن فَوْقِهِمْ. إِلَيْهِ يَصْعَدُ الْكَلِمُ الطَّيِّبُ. To him ascend the goodly word. تَعْرُجُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. The angels ascend to Allah. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْقُرْآنَ تَنزِيلًا. We have sent down the Quran. We have sent down the Quran. أَأَمِنْتُم مَّن فِي السَّمَاءِ. Do you feel secure that He who is above the heavens? You read those, what is your aqidah going to be? That Allah is above. You speak to a so-called academic, philosophical, educated Muslim, he will tell you, lah, you cannot attribute direction to Allah. You cannot attribute direction to Allah. Allah is the creator of the space and Allah is the creator of the time. And then he goes on from 5 minutes of non-stop rant where he's all over the place. And then you say, Captain, what about the ayat I was reading? You want me to understand something other than what is apparent? Yani the Quran doesn't guide me. The Quran confuses me. Where does it say in the Quran that Allah Azza wa Jal cannot be in a direction of being above? It doesn't say that anywhere in the Quran. You understand what I'm saying? It will put an end to all this back and forth. 7 times you read that Allah rose over the throne. They tell you, no, you cannot say that Allah rose over the throne because the throne is a place and that means Allah is encompassed by a place. Again, philosophical principles being applied because the people don't want to submit to the deen of Allah and the Quran. They don't want the Quran to be the guide and they don't want you to be guided by the Quran either. So you have to be very careful about those issues. Otherwise, you reflect on the Quran, wallahi, it will guide you to the straight path. Have you ever had any doubt from the Quran that you should call on Allah Azza wa Jal alone? I ask you by Allah, is there any ayah in the Quran that opens the door, allows you, even for a short moment, to call on other than Allah or to find intercessors with Allah? Never. In the whole Quran, you will not find a single supporting ayah. Rather, you will find the opposite. Allah calling them liars. إنما نعبدهم ليقربونا إلى الله زلفى. We only worship them so they can get us closer to Allah. Allah rejected that. قالوا هؤلاء شفعاؤنا عند الله. They said these are our intercessors with Allah. Allah rejected that. You get on the other hand, ادعوني أستجب لكم. Call on me, I will respond to you. That Allah Azza wa Jal is near. and so on and so forth. You see, you let the Quran guide you, you will be guided to the straight path. You set aside the Quran and you start learning and listening to speakers and scholars, then you're going to absorb whatever deviance or whatever interpretation that they have arrived at with their defective intellect, and you become just a blind follower and a sheep to those individuals, not to the Quran. Had you let the Quran guide you, you will never be confused about the Aqidah. You will never be confused about who worship belongs to. Strictly, you will never be confused about the fact Prophet ﷺ is a human. بشر مثلكم قل إنما أنا بشر مثلكم يوحى إلي. Say, verily, I am a human like you who receives revelation. The Prophet ﷺ is human. ولا أدري ما يفعل بي. I don't know what will be done to me. And if I had known the unseen, لاستكثرت من الخير, I would have received and acquired a lot of wealth if the Prophet ﷺ knew the unseen. And the list goes on. So always make sure that the Quran coupled with the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ are your guide, and not external sources that inject and insert into the so-called Islamic discourse foreign ideologies that have been adopted by individuals that mixed and matched and confused the hidayah with the dalal, the guidance with the misguidance. And that is what we see in the ummah today. And of course, as soon as you speak out about those issues, and as soon as you start saying, hey, this is the haqq and this is the truth, then you're going to become hated, you're going to be attacked, you're going to be undermined, your personal life becomes a subject of discussion, you get bullied by people, by other du'at. You will be surprised what type of world we're living in and what type of shady individuals we have within the da'wah community. But that's why there's Yawm al-Qiyamah, where all of these matters will be resolved, and those who oppress others, then those who were oppressed will retrieve their rights from them, and those who wish to cause corruption and fasad and fahisha among the people, then they will get their share of that in the dunya and in the akhirah. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to protect us and to conceal us and to make us among the righteous slaves. طيب. Ayah number 78.
إن ربك يقضي بينهم بحكمه وهو العزيز العليم.
Okay, that was quick. MashaAllah. Type. Your Lord will certainly judge between them by his justice, and he is the Almighty, the All-Knowing. أي إن الله تعالى سيفصل بين المختصمين وسيحكم بين المختلفين بحكمه العدل وقضائه القسط. Surely Allah Azza wa Jal will make a distinction, and yafsil is to basically decide here, because it means sometimes yafsil means to separate, and sometimes yafsil means to arrive at a decision or decide regarding two contending entities. So Allah Azza wa Jal will decide and conclude the issues that existed among those who were in opposition to each other, and Allah will judge between those who were differed with his just ruling and with his sound justice. فالأمور وإن حصل فيها اشتباه في الدنيا بين المختلفين لخفاء الدليل أو لبعض المقاصد, matters in general, even though there might be some doubt concerning them in this dunya, because when there's two people differing, there might be a confusion or a doubt, either because there's a missing evidence or because people have some ulterior motives. فإنه سيبين فيها الحق المطابق للواقع حين يحكم الله فيها. Then Allah Azza wa Jal will show the truth that is in line with the reality when Allah judges regarding those things. Meaning, in this worldly life, A person may be oppressed because the way the case was built against him was made in such a way to assassinate his character. It was made to take him down. So the plot was put in such a sophisticated way in order to make you look like the bad person or in order to take you down. You understand? And that is the case because there might be some things that you cannot prove otherwise. Like you know that you're innocent, for example, but you can't prove it to the people for whatever the reason may be. And vice versa. Bottom line is in this worldly life, there could be something missing, or so people just oppress you. The people are just oppressing you flat out, even though you didn't do anything. Those will not this will not be the case on Yawm al-Qiyamah when Allah Azza wa Jal judges. وهو العزيز الذي قهر الخلائق فأذعنوا لها. Allah Azza wa Jal is the Almighty who subdued the creation so they all were humiliated before Him. Al-Alimu, the all-knowing بجميع الأشياء, the one who knows all matters. Al-Alimu بأقوال المختلفين, the one who knows the statements of those who are differing. وعماذا صدرت, and what was the cause of those expressions? What was the reason behind them? وعن غاياتها ومقاصدها, and the intent and the purpose and the objective behind making those statements. وسيجازي كلا بما علمه فيه, and Allah will recompense each person according to that which Allah knows about them, not according to the way the person or those people put forward their case. Meaning they may put their case in such a way where they come out on top and victorious. Okay? They may be able to do it this way, but then when Allah will judge them on Yawm al-Qiyamah, it will not be based on how they put it and how they designed it. It will be based on the facts that Allah Azza wa Jal knows, which includes their intentions and the reasons why they did. Yani, it's a severe warning. It's a severe warning for all of those who might want to go and travel in that particular direction. Let's do ayah number 79. 79. Do it.
فتوكل على الله إنك على الحق المبين إنك لا تسمع الموتى ولا تسمع الصم دعاء إذا ولوا مدبرين وما أنت بهاد العمي عن ضلالتهم إن تسمع إلا من يؤمن بآياتنا فهم مسلمون.
I know. What happened there? Type. So put your trust in Allah, for you are surely upon the path of clear truth. You certainly cannot make the dead hear the truth, nor can you make the dead hear the call when they turn their backs and walk away. Nor can you lead the blind out of their misguidance. You can make none hear the truth except those who believe in our revelations fully, submitting to Allah. The Shaykh says, rahimahullah, أي اعتمد على ربك في جلب المصالح ودفع المضار. Rely upon your Lord to bring about all benefit and all good and to keep away all harm. وفي تبليغ الرسالة, and also rely upon your Lord in conveying the message. وإقامة الدين وجهاد الأعداء, and establishing a religion and fighting against the enemies. إنك على الحق المبين الواضح. You are upon the clear truth. والذي على الحق يدعو إليه ويقوم بنصرته أحق من غيره بالتوكل. And whoever is upon the truth should invite people to it and should support that truth. And he is more worthy of that than others because of his reliance upon Allah. فإنه يسعى في أمر مجزوم به. He is only seeking a matter that has been concluded. معلوم صدقه. It is known its truthfulness. لا شك فيه ولا مرية. There's no doubt and there's no speculation concerning it. وأيضا, and further, فهو حق في غاية البيان. It is truth and the best explicit explanation. لا خفاء به ولا اشتباه. There's no hiding, there's nothing hidden within it, and there's no doubt whatsoever. وإذا قمت بما حملت وتوكلت على الله في ذلك. If you fulfill what you were made responsible of, and you rely upon Allah in doing so, فلا يضرك ضلال من ضل وليس عليك هداهم. You are not going to be harmed by the misguidance of those who go astray, nor is it upon you to guide them by force. فلهذا قال, that's what Allah said, إنك لا تسمع الموتى ولا تسمع الصم الدعاء, أي حين تدعوهم وتناديهم, meaning when you call on them and when you invite them specifically, you cannot make them hear. إذا ولوا مدبرين فإنه يكون أبلغ في عدم إسماعهم, and that is more when they turn away, and they walk away, they turn their backs and walk away, that is more of a reason for them not to be able to, for them not to receive the message, because they're not even standing there listening, they're also actually giving you their back and they're turning away. وما أنت بهادي العمي عن ضلالتهم كما قال تعالى إنك لا تهدي من أحببت ولكن الله يهدي ما يشاء. This ayah is similar to the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, verily you do not guide those whom you love, rather Allah guides whomever He wills. إن تسمع إلا من يؤمن بآياتنا فهم مسلمون, أي هؤلاء الذين ينقادون لك, those are the ones who will be driven towards you. الذين يؤمنون بآيات الله, those who believe in the ayat of Allah, وينقادون لها بأعمالهم واستسلامهم, and they comply and they follow those ayat with their deeds and their submission. كما قال تعالى, as Allah Azza wa Jal said, إنما يستجيب الذين يسمعون, the only one who respond are those who listen, those who hear. والموتى يبعثهم الله ثم إليه يرجعون, as for the dead, Allah Azza wa Jal will resurrect them and to Him they will return. طيب, inshallah we will conclude here, because the next ayah will speak about an important subject having to do with the dabba, and that always opens up an Imran Hussein discussion when you speak about the eschatology. But we will leave that till next time, inshallah. Let's deal with some of the questions and answers quickly. Yeah, Uzru and Nel, why are you guys always fighting, man? Come on, guys. Love each other, brother. Pedro's in the house. Ustad, shouldn't getting a haircut from the barber haram, because we'll be then supporting their business where they cut beards. So I need to learn to cut my own hair? No, Pedro, that's a little extreme, Habibi. That's a little extreme. I personally appreciate that position, and I don't go to the barber myself. I haven't seen a barber in Allah knows how long, because I cut my own hair. But I can't also say that anyone who goes to the barber is aiding them in doing what they're doing, because it's like any other business. Also, there's certain restaurants that sell food to obese people that might die. So you can't help those fast food joints remain in business, because by doing so you're helping more people die. Like if you keep buying from McDonald's and Burger King, you're helping them remain in business, and more people will die from eating junk food. And then the same thing with the doctor. The doctor might treat someone in a haram way. Yeah, you don't go to a doctor anymore. Now that would be extreme, yeah, Pedro. You cannot fulfill that in real life. If you do this out of zuhud, out of wara', you want to be extra cautious, jazakallah khair. I would say learn how to cut your own hair. Knock yourself out. Do it my style. If it's too much, it's okay. You can go to the barber. If I typed out something on WhatsApp that is backbiting or lying about someone, then before sending it, I delete the message. So then would that be still considered backbiting or no? No, it's not backbiting. If no one read it, it didn't go out, it's fine. Yes, yeah, Amatullah. I have a lecture on arrogance and self-praise titled The Grain of a Mustard. It's an old lecture. The Grain of a Mustard. People are saying need to take fatwa from Shaykh Asim, as he doesn't have the proper qualifications and because of his recent manners, and ask real scholars instead. Thoughts? Well, look, in reality, first of all, Asim al-Hakim does not issue fatwa. Asim al-Hakim is simply a person who conveys fatwa to you like I do, like most of the people involved in da'wah in English do. We're not muftis, and we've never claimed to be muftis, nor have we claimed to be shuyukh, nor have we claimed to be scholars. We're people who have access to the Arabic language, and we've studied the deen to some degree, and therefore we are in a position for those who may not have had the same opportunities to convey to you what is going on that side of the world to your side of the world because of the language barriers. Tamam? So he's not issuing any fatwa on his own. He's conveying to you fatwa that he's familiar with. And if you trust him in his deen, then you can continue to ask him. As for his recent manners, everybody has a defect, Habibi. You, Ya Mustafa, you have your own problems. I have my own defects. Every person involved in da'wah has defects, whether of in his personal life, with his own wife, with his own children, with his own neighbors. There's issues there, and then even issues in his da'wah, even issues in his public figure, in his public correspondence, in his public presentation. I have a million defects in the way I communicate Islam to people. Sometimes I might joke too much. Sometimes I might offend people. Sometimes I know my problems. Don't think I don't know my problems. I've never been in denial, neither about my personal life nor about my da'wah life. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to allow whatever good we have put forward to be accepted by Him, so that it diminishes and it takes away from the problems and the mistakes and the errors. That's really the way I look at things in general. And Asim al-Hakim is the same. And so are you and your parents and ummak wa abuk wa ukhtak wa akhuk. Everybody is the same way. So does that mean you cancel the person, you dismiss them? La, ya Shaykh. And if you have access to real scholars instead who are going to issue their own fatwa, please, if you find a Shaykh, if you have access to Shaykh Fawzan, and Shaykh Fawzan is going to give you a fatwa, حياك Allah, share it with us. But when you reach him, اتصل فيني, call me, huh? Come on, man. يلا يا حجاج بيت الله الحرام. My local masjid has a Jumu'ah before Adhan of Dhuhr and one after. What? Which one should I pray in? After. Also, my masjid is hosting Yasir Qadi as the Khatib. Can I pray behind him? Yes. Yes, you can pray behind him because he's not a kafir. But do you want to pray behind a deviant? No, you don't. Do you want to listen to his khutbah? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can already imagine what the khutbah will be like. After praising Allah and sending salah upon the Prophet ﷺ, as to what follows, I graduated from Medina University as a top student, and I got my degree in pedigree and in engineering, and I also can solve math. I did 1 + 1 = 2, and at some point I was at 1 + 1 = 3. But then I realized that 1 + 1 = 3 was too much for the average lay Muslims, those pseudo Salafis, what did they call us? Neophytes. So I was too smart for them. So I decided, look, I will keep 1 + 1 = 2 until you sign up for my course. You know, my course, only $2,000 per minute. And then there, I will give you the real access to why 1 + 1 has always been 3 and has never been 2. But, because we love people, we don't want to cause fitna and confusion. We are going to get it. That would be the khutbah? I don't know, man. Allah al-Azim, ya Shaykh. Khalli walli ya Yasir Kari. Next. Ustad, I have attended a 10 days Islamic workshop in India. Over there, we used to perform Fajr Salatu. Then Fajr Salah, we will use to recite 100 times the ayat of Allah in congregation. Is this a bid'ah? That's bid'ah times 100. That is 100 times bid'ah, ya Habibi. Of course it's a bid'ah, ya Captain. What kind of workshop was this? Sufi workshop. Yell. Serious question. If a person is born left-handed, should they start to learn to do things with right? No. No, you don't have to do things with right. You're left-handed, stay left-handed. You just eat with your right hand and still clean with your left hand. Yeah, you still have to do istinja with the left hand. Yes. You want to clean with the right hand and then come shake hands with me? ايش القرف هذا يا شيخ؟ يلا. If many people give us salam, can we just reply with one, or must we reply to each single person? And would you recommend the Knowledge College? I don't know I forgot who runs the Knowledge College. Is it Abu Taymiyyah, yeah, inshallah. Abu Taymiyyah is fine, bi'idhnillah. Given the salam, one salam, I don't know, Habibi. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know, sister. What are some books to learn the fiqh of earning money? The fiqh of earning money? I didn't know there was a books of fiqh of earning money. Akhi. I know there's a book of fiqh on zuhd and asceticism. You learn that from college. I don't know. Yalla, next. Not troll question. Whenever somebody says not a troll question, it turns out to be one. Very genuine question. Yeah, I could see from the profile picture with this silly looking cat that is going to be very serious. Why is the middle finger a bad finger, but the other fingers are not? Can we still use it without having the bad intent behind it? Do you really want me to explain to you why the bad finger is the middle finger is the bad finger? How am I supposed to say this in front of a crowd of our brothers and sisters? Okay. It's common sense why the middle one is the bad one. I can't even verbalize it. No, what do you mean you want to use it? How are you going to use it? You want to use it for what? To scratch your head? You're going to look funny. To wave at someone? You're going to get beat up. To clean your ears? You're going to look dumb. I mean, there's no way on earth in this day and time you could use your middle finger for anything without looking like something is wrong with you. Come on now. Okay, so no. Alhamdulillah, I have 4 other fingers. Use them. ايش هذا؟ يلا يلا يا حاج. What is your opinion on those who warn against the conference of Shaykh Ruhaili in the UK? And is this the type of hurman from Allah for them? Yani Allah yahdiyum ya akhi. Those individuals, man, if they only knew what kind of corruption and fasad they're spreading on earth, they would beg Allah for forgiveness and they would change their ways. Of course it is a type of hurman. وخذلان. أسأل الله العافية. يلا. Does attending Jum'ah khutbah require wudu? I'm talking about just the khutbah and not about the salah. Yes, it does. Because the khutbah is part of the salah. Next. Don't stress, fellas. The duck is back. Uncle Wajdi, do you think them Sufis are better than Michael Jackson in breakdancing? Also, are regular class attendees invited to your son's wedding? Okay, well, first of all, the Sufis are better dancers than Michael Jackson? No. Based on my experience from the days of Jahiliyyah, Michael Jackson was the king. Okay, he was the king, and according to us, he died as a Muslim, so we could actually say Rahimahullah to Michael Jackson. You know, what we know that he was a Muslim in spite of the issues he had. He was a Muslim, but you know that's done. And my son is not having a wedding in the first place for me to have invitees from among the attendees. But if we reach that point, then yeah, inshallah, why not? Did Bukhari have 600,000 ahadith and shorten them to 7,000? Some ahadith rejectors say, how could I have memorized 600 hadiths? Habibi, you don't know the story of Imam Bukhari when he went to a particular town. Was it in Baghdad? Was it in Baghdad? And they wanted to test him, so they brought 10 different people, and they gave each one of them 10 narrations, and they mixed up the chain of narrators for them, and they came and read each one of them, and he would tell them, I don't know this hadith, I don't know this hadith, and then he narrated all of them for them in the right order. Imam Bukhari was an icon. He was a genius. How he memorized it, the scholars of the Salaf were all encyclopedias. Now, yalla. Arabic books that refute Tawheed of meaning in detail. Tafweed. Arabic books that refute tafweed of meaning in detail. Well, you're gonna find it in the book we're covering, Aqidah al-Wasitiyah. We discussed the matter of tafweed and how we refute the matter of tafweed. We have that as well in our weekly Aqidah class. شرح العقيدة الوسطية شيخ سبب بن تيمية رحمه الله. نعم, next. يلا يلا يا captain. Why Mustafa again? Is it okay to go free mixed school? I've already answered those questions in the past. Next. Questions that are redundant, that I've answered in the past, give others a chance. Ustad, is it true that Mufti Menk is of the opinion that Tawheed is divided into two, so he doesn't teach Asma wa Sifat? I don't know, Habibi. I don't know what Mufti Menk... The problem is, if we knew what Mufti Menk believed or what opinions he had, our life would be much easier in terms of da'wah. The problem with Mufti Menk is that we don't know what he believes. We don't know what he thinks. We don't know what positions he holds. We only know about, tweets of encouragement. I don't want to go there. Khalas, you know what it is. We don't know. I don't know what he believes. If I wish I did. Yalla. Yalla. My house was built in the 80s and my kitchen cabinets are starting to break apart and moldy and desperate need of renovation. Is it okay to take a loan from the bank for repairs? I have no other money. No. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Next. I have a toothpaste in my al-hammam and it has an-nisa smiling on it. Am I sinful if I see it? If yes, should I avoid it? Habibi, if you could, it's in the hammam, it's fine. If you're looking at the woman, if you're actually looking at the woman and you're appreciating her, then yeah, of course you're sinful. But yeah, last I checked, no one even pays attention to what's on the toothpaste anymore. They just brush right away. But just in case you're at that very fragile age where you pay attention to these details, yes, if there's a picture of a woman smiling, scratch it off. Yeah, put tape on it, blot it out. Blot it out. That's the word I was looking for. How you want to blot it out, that's your business. Now, if he turns the image around, when he picks it up, he's going to turn around and look at it again. يلا 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 يا حجاج, يلا يا حجاج, يلا بسرعة. طريق يا حاج. Ustaz, is there any hope of uniting the Salafiyun upon Haqq, especially in the UK, anytime soon? Habibi, who am I to answer this question? I'm a miskeen cockroach. I'm not going to be able to answer something of this magnitude. It's from the knowledge of the unseen. Only Allah Azza wa Jal knows. And there's so many variables that I can't assess in the world, let alone the UK. How will I know? No idea. Limited quantity Salafiyya expired with no evidence. Next. Yalla ya Hajj, yalla ya Hajj, yalla ya Hajj, you have 2 minutes. We did this one. Is it haram to pet a dog without its saliva getting on my hand or clothing? Also, can we take them on walks, feed them, and give food or water? Yes, inshallah. Someone asked me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of all and the creator of good and evil, but is there such thing as pure evil since only that which is good comes from him? No, there's no such thing as pure evil. It's pure evil from a human perspective, not from a divine perspective. Why is Ustad always in a rush? Because I go to the gym after the class. I have a time limit. I need to finish on time to run, change, and go to the gym, which is a drive. So yes, I'm sorry, but I try to give a full 15 minutes of Q&A. So thank you. Yalla ya Hujjaj, yalla ya Baba. I had an important question. If I don't pray a salah, should I take shahada and also take ghusl? That question was asked also last week. If you don't pray salah and if you're of the opinion that missing a salah is tantamount to kufr, then yes, you have to take the shahada. No, you don't have to take ghusl, but you could. I got COVID. Please make dua for me. May Allah Azza wa Jal grant you a speedy recovery. Yalla khalas, I'm done. I'm doing translation for Islamic English videos. Do you allow me to translate your videos into my language and upload on my YouTube channel? Yes, provided that you share with me the video first. So once you finish your work, email it to onewaytoparadise@gmail.com, and we will respond to you accordingly, inshallah ta'ala. And once we give you the approval, you can go ahead, post. Mussab is writing in capital letter, meaning he's upset. Yalla, jazakumullah khair. Hey, if you're really excited about the Q&A, come back tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala, for the Aqidah class, and you will have another shot and another go at asking your questions. So, shukran, jazilan, wa afwan, wa marhaban, wa goodbye, al-anu.